A girl stopped her car and got out to greet a moose that had come right up to people. Apparently, he was so curious and friendly that he wanted to make friends with humans. He was very gentle and even allowed himself to be petted, which thrilled the girl since she had never before stood so close to such a powerful animal. Later, the girl was shocked when she saw that very same moose outside her house window. Somehow, he had found his way to her home and came to visit. The girl went out to him and fed him. That was the beginning of their friendship. From then on, the huge moose came to her every day, and they spent time together. He befriended not only her, but also her husband. He became part of their family. They fed him and walked with him. The moose loved them so much that he couldn't go even a day without seeing them. He often stayed overnight in their yard, where they had made a special comfortable spot with a feeder just for him. That became his favorite place to live among kind and caring human friends. A man noticed an injured fox wandering near his house and decided to offer her some food. At first she was cautious, but eventually she accepted the treat, since she was clearly too weak to hunt for herself. The man kept feeding her, and the fox kept coming back. She became less afraid of people and easily made contact. The man admired her bright coat. It looked so unreal against the white snow. He was proud to have such an unusual friend. They began meeting not only near the forest behind his house, but even right at his doorstep. Now the fox came without fear, and he cared for her until she fully recovered. But even after that, she kept visiting. Sometimes she even stayed overnight inside his home, and the man didn't mind such a guest at all. They became best friends and cared for each other even after winter ended. The fox became part of the family and felt at ease among people. A girl was shocked when her cat brought an injured bird straight into the house. He had caught it, but the girl immediately took the bird away to care for it, since it was clearly hurt. The bird wasn't afraid of her and clung tightly to her hand. She fed it, since it was obviously hungry and unable to find food on its own. It turned out to be a little sparrow. The girl was amazed at how smart and quick to learn he was. She taught him a few habits, and the sparrow always followed them. She was stunned by his cleverness. The sparrow adapted quickly and easily interacted with both people and animals. He was living his best life in comfort and warmth, where he was always fed and spoiled. But when the sparrow was fully healed, the girl released him back to his kin. Still, she always left food out by her house. The sparrow never forgot her and was always the first to fly to her whenever he saw her. Their friendship didn't end. They continued to care for each other. A man once found a very unusual egg in the forest and decided to take it home to try raising it. The egg had a strange shape, and he was curious about what might hatch from it. At home, he candled the egg and saw that there was indeed life inside. He placed it in an incubator and cared for it. Soon, a tiny chick hatched. It was so small, but the man immediately realized it was a parrot chick. He hand-fed it and raised it himself. The chick required a lot of attention and care, and the man gave it all. It grew quickly, and soon its first feathers appeared. It turned out to be a macaw. The man was shocked, since macaws are both intelligent and beautiful. The parrot indeed became the smartest pet he had ever had. They became like a true family. The man had practically raised him like his own son. The macaw stayed with him always. Even outside, he never flew away since his home was now with his human. The parrot understood who had saved his life and would never leave him. A woman discovered that an injured raccoon had come to her house. His legs were hurt, and he looked weak. Perhaps he had been in an accident or fallen, since it was his hind legs that were injured. She couldn't leave him and took him home. The raccoon easily made contact and looked at her with sadness, as if knowing how hard life was for him now. The woman brought him to a clinic, where they gave her a special carrier so he could move around. At home, she fed him. She even made a special little wheelchair so that he could move more easily until his legs healed. Every day she took him for walks and tried to help him practice walking so he would recover faster. For several months, she continued his rehabilitation under doctor's supervision, and finally, the raccoon got better. His legs fully healed, and he could run again. She was overjoyed. During this time, she had grown to love him like her own child. The raccoon, in turn, would be grateful to her for saving his life until the end of his days. A girl was returning from work when she noticed a little duckling following her. At first, she tried to shoo it away, thinking its parents must be nearby, but there was no one around. The duckling kept chasing after her. The girl decided to take the duckling home, worried it might get hit by a car on the nearby road or be harmed without help. She introduced the duckling to her cat, who was shocked by the newcomer but accepted him with curiosity. The girl fed and washed the duckling. He gladly accepted her care and quickly trusted her. They became friends fast, and soon he was a true member of the family. He lived inside the house and always ran after the girl, having grown attached to her. She spoiled him, and he grew healthy and plump. She took him everywhere with her, always, surrounding him with care. They had found each other by chance, and that was the start of their strong friendship. A squirrel clung to a man and wouldn't let go. The squirrel had lost her mother and didn't know where to go, so she turned to the man for help. He couldn't ignore her and took her home. The squirrel turned out to be very tame and easily bonded with him. He bathed and fed her. She felt at home in the man's house. She got used to the smells and adapted easily. She rarely stayed alone, always seeking people around the house to stay close to. She seemed to crave warmth, having lost her parents so early, and always snuggled close. She was tame and very smart. She rarely went outside, preferring to stay indoors where she felt safe. She would see the man off to work and wait faithfully for him all day. The squirrel had chosen the right family. She must have sensed she would live here in comfort and warmth, and that's exactly what happened. They spoiled and loved her like one of their own. A girl brought her father a tiny mouse she had found in the yard. The man was shocked, but at his daughter's request, he didn't throw the mouse out. He kept it. He had always taught his children never to abandon helpless animals. They fed the little one milk using a pipette since he was so small. The whole family cared for the mouse, both children and adults. The man himself grew attached to it. It was so small and defenseless, left completely alone. He was surprised to realize how intelligent mice could be, always marveling at its behavior and resourcefulness. The mouse grew up modest and very loyal. She loved each of her rescuers and always tried to stay nearby. The man never thought he could come to love such an ordinary little mouse so much. He thanked his daughter for saving the tiny life and caring for it. The mouse became part of their family. She was lucky and would live a long, safe life. A girl once found an owl lying exhausted on the grass in her yard from the heat. She brought it water to revive it. When the owl felt better, she took it inside where it could rest in comfort. The owl wasn't afraid of people and calmly stayed nearby. It turned out her wing was injured, and the girl helped her recover. The owl spent several days just resting, but quickly bonded with the girl and behaved gently. They became friends and spent every day together. The girl trained the owl, encouraging it to move its wings and rebuild its strength. The owl improved quickly and was soon running lively around the house. The girl cared for her constantly and never left her side. The owl couldn't imagine life without her rescuer. She hadn't been abandoned, but saved. The bird fully healed and soon flew freely around the girl's home, guarding her. Now, they were truly a family who cared for each other. A man once found a fawn trapped in his yard among old boards. Its leg was stuck, and it couldn't free itself, so it cried out for help. The man carefully freed it so as not to injure the fragile little creature further. But once freed, the fawn didn't run away. It followed him back home, too scared to be alone. The man didn't turn him away and let him stay. He fed the fawn and kept him in the yard. Soon he became part of the family, befriending everyone, especially the man's dogs. Since the fawn was small, he copied the older animal's behavior. He grew up playful and loyal. One day, he even brought his mother to the man, feeling that this was a safe, welcoming home. The people continued caring for the deer family, who had become part of their larger family. One day, a dog led a woman into the yard, where she was shocked to find an opossum. At first, she didn't know what to do, but in the end, she brought the animal home, not wanting to leave it in trouble. The opossum was weak and hungry. She fed it, and it ate eagerly. The opossum stayed in the house, always choosing the coziest, warmest spot to sleep, often sleeping for a long time. At first, this surprised the woman until she realized why. The opossum turned out to be a young mother, carrying babies. The woman made a special enclosure for them to rest and sleep in comfort. Finally, the opossum could relax and recover without stress. Her tiny babies were adorable. Now the woman cared for the whole family, and she loved their company. The little opossums grew strong and healthy, all thanks to her care. They became a big family, always sticking together. A man once noticed a young owl sitting near his fence, unable to fly away. He realized its wings were injured and wanted to help. The owl wasn't very trusting and resisted human contact, but the man didn't give up, knowing otherwise the owl wouldn't survive. He brought it to a clinic, where vets confirmed that its wing and legs were damaged. Now the owl needed rehabilitation and care. The man took him home, determined to help. The owl turned out to be clever and adapted quickly to living with people. He healed steadily thanks to the man's care, soon managing to fly short distances, though still only around the apartment. For longer flights, he was still too weak. But the man didn't give up, determined to help him live fully. With time, the owl grew strong enough to fly and live freely, yet he never left. Even though he had the freedom, the owl stayed close because he felt truly at home with his rescuer.